Hi, folks. Thanks for joining us this evening for a quick overview about the Higher Education Student Affairs Master's Program at Morgan State University. My name is Virginia Byrne. I'm an associate professor in the program, and I am also the director of the Master's Program. I am joined today by one of our incredible alum of the Master's Program and also a current PhD student, Christy Obier. Christy, do you want to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Hey everyone, my name is Christy Oye. I use she, her pronouns, and as Dr. B shared, I am an alumna of the master's program, and I'm currently a PhD student in the higher education program. So, absolutely love Morgan, and I'm happy to share all the lovely things about Morgan with you all tonight.
So Christy is the best person to be here with me tonight because she knows how to be successful in the master's program. She was the graduation speaker when she finished the program. She then went on and worked for a few years and then came back to the PhD program. Um, and she was working full time right now. And so she can also answer questions later about the balance of schoolwork and working full time. She can be a person for that. And she's also a GA and has been held many different GA positions across campus over the years.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you can answer questions, all types of questions for students that or prospective students that I, as a faculty member, am not really the best person to answer. So uh, we start with just this is the beautiful campus. Um, Morgan State is just a gorgeous campus. If you have not come, we'd love to host you for a day. Let's dive in. So the Higher Education Student Affairs program, or HESA program, prepares individuals both for careers and highly effective higher ed administrator roles, but also as scholars. So all of our programs, our master's program and our PhD program, are very scholar centric. So we want our students to be doing research. We want them to be going to conferences. We really push everyone to be applying to present at conferences. We host a conference on campus. It's something that we really try to promote amongst everybody. Both the master's and the PhD program prepare scholar leaders for the challenges of higher education organizations in today's global environment. So folks go on to work in universities and colleges in the area, but we also see them go all around the world. And we focus a lot on equity and social justice in higher education. We are not straying from the mission and we're not changing our language. So we offer both a Master of Arts and MA program, which prepares students for student affairs positions. And then we have the PhD program, which is a PhD in education with a concentration in higher education, which prepares people to become faculty, upper level administrators, senior student affairs officers, and researchers of higher education in other types of organizations. So today we're talking specifically about the master's program. If you have questions about the PhD program, I encourage you to come to our session in early December. We won't really be talking about the PhD program here tonight. So our master's program, all the courses are taught by tenure track faculty. That is a real differentiator between us and other programs. Um, Oh, that's not true, except for one person who is both faculty and an administrator. So all of us have worked in student affairs, have worked in higher education, have worked in academic affairs, and are also tenured or tenure track faculty, um, including our department chair and our PhD program director. We represent all different types of methodologies, have different research interests, are running different research projects, writing books or writing articles or going to conferences. Would love to plug you into some of our existing projects. And you can find everybody's bio on our website. So let's dive into the Master of the Arts program. So the master's program we recently redesigned for the fall 2016, so fall 2026 start, right? So it is a brand new redesigned program where we're looking at 30 total credit hours. That's 10 courses, 3 credits each, including 1 internship, a capstone portfolio, and a once a semester residency weekend. Uh, we welcome students who are coming in full-time or part-time. Full-time students can complete the program in a year and a half, and part-time students often take about 2.5 years. But part-time students, it depends on if you're taking 1 class a semester or 2 classes a semester. But either way, we'd love to support part-time students. We encourage students to take classes together so they have that community of a cohort, but that's not required. Yeah, so let's dive a little bit more into structure. So the newly designed program is a hybrid model. So students come to campus once per semester for what we call residency weekend. All other class sessions for the rest of the semester are on Zoom. So we're really trying to accommodate folks who are working full time, who are balancing a lot of life responsibilities, and you can't drive to campus 3 evenings a week. We understand, so we're trying this hybrid model to meet you where you're at. This is a thing our current students really love, and it's made the program more accessible to a lot of people. So all of our courses are offered in the evenings, Monday through Thursday, 4:30. There's two time periods, either the early one, which is 4:30 p.m. to 7:15 p.m., or 7:30 p.m. to 10:15 p.m. And so classes meet once per week during one of those time blocks. So like this semester, I teach a class. It's every Wednesday from 7:30 p.m. to 10:15 p.m. on Zoom. Residency weekend is usually the first weekend of every semester. It is all professional development, and also some of your classes meet in person. So it's a nice way to build relationships, build rapport, meet the faculty, and we do a lot of professional development workshops in that space. And it's just some good community building. So uh, people go to happy hours afterwards. We have our graduate research symposium at the same time, but it keeps people having that HBCU experience that a lot of people want from their time at Morgan. So feel free to screenshot this. I know this is also in the materials we email you. But for folks who want to come full time, we talked about how you can complete the program in a year and a half. You'd start in the fall, you'd take 3 classes per semester. You do something over the summer, either an elective course or an internship, and you'd finish up with your 3 courses in the fall, and you'd be done in December. You'd graduate in December. For part-time students, this is a suggested schedule. Obviously, I talked about how folks want to do 1 class a semester for certain time periods. We also support that. You start with 2 classes per semester and you keep it going through summer. And I know for folks who might work full-time, the idea of doing an internship seems really daunting. Trust me that my job is to help you find an internship that fits your schedule. I have found internships for folks who have little kids and a full-time job, and we find a way to fit it in. We have a really great Rolodex of supervisors in the area that are excited to support our interns. And I can talk more about internships after this. So a bit more about residency weekend, because I know that that's a new part of our master's program and it's a bit confusing. So the purpose of residency weekend is to get to know the faculty and your peers, foster a scholarly identity, and develop a writing community. It is 1 weekend per semester. It's Friday to Sunday. It's not overnight. You don't need to, you don't bunk up in the residence halls. But it is just a way for us to be together. And we book those dates way in advance, so you know your travel schedule. So a quick overview of the application requirements. I'm just going to talk through the different pieces. Again, all of this is in the FAQ and on our website. We require unofficial transcripts with your applications. We don't require official transcripts until like right before the start of classes. We do have some cutoffs for minimum GPA. So a minimum undergraduate GPA of 3.0 is expected, but if you're right on the cusp there, I would read the fine print and feel free to reach out to me via email if you want to talk more specifically about your case. We've seen students be really successful in the program who had, maybe they struggled in the first 2 years of college, but they did really well in the final 2 years of college, or they struggled in undergrad, but then they got a master's in teaching and they did really well in their master's in teaching, right? So we also are happy to figure out the mix there. I should say every year we have a couple of career changers coming from the K-12 space, and they do so well in our program. So well. Some of my favorite students. So yeah, that's just an aside. We ask for 2 letters of recommendation. They should come from supervisors, old faculty members, professionals who can speak to your academic readiness, potential for success in graduate study, and also for your Are you a good part of the student affairs field? Our only rule there is that we want you to not ask a family member. We don't accept letters of rec from family members. We have as the university does and is put on the School of Graduate Studies website, there's some English language proficiency minimums. Those are listed here, and there's a lot more details about that and how to upload those test results on the graduate school's website. And now we're going to talk briefly through the personal statement, and then Christy is going to go into it step by step with some real clear advice. So the personal statement is a part of the application I've seen people really struggle with. So it's why we're focusing on it today. So this is about 2 to 3 pages, Times New Roman, double space, 12-point font, a regular APA like formatted paper, written in your own words, not ChatGPT, right? And addresses your professional background, any relevant experience, sort of introduces you, talks about your career goals, why a master's degree at Morgan, and sort of gives us your story and pitches you as like why you're a good member of our upcoming cohort. And we read that personal statement at the same time we're looking at your resume. So your resume should be like 1 to 2 pages that highlight your professional experiences, any higher education experiences, paid or unpaid. We want to see it on the resume. So we're usually looking at these two things at the same time. We also ask for a writing sample. So that should be a recent academic or professional writing piece. So maybe that's a course paper from undergrad or some type of scholarly essay you've written through work or something else that you're working on, a grant that you've written. If you don't have a recent writing sample or you just don't think your writing samples represent you well, we offer this prompt. Again, it's on the website, asking you to write a 3 to 5 page essay of what do you see as 3 major trends or issues currently facing higher education student affairs? You can see the whole prompt there. But if you go back and pull an old essay from undergrad, I just encourage you to really take another look at it. Really like with your own eyes, like make sure that the grammar's right, it's all clean. And I want to really, really encourage you not to use ChatGPT for this or any type of generative AI tool. Um, it won't, it's not a good sign for us when things come in that have been AI generated. So that's my quick overview of the application materials. I want to just highlight some important dates, and then Christy's going to take the deep dive into what we're looking for in those personal statements. So January 15th is our priority application deadline. We want to see everyone apply by January 15th. Because in January, when we start to review applications on January 16th, we can accept a lot of people. And that is when we start to give out funding. So if you're interested in graduate funding, either with a role on campus or a teaching assistantship or a graduate research assistantship, you must apply by January 15th because we make all those funding decisions in January, February. If that doesn't matter to you, then you have until March 1st to submit all your materials, right? The final cutoff date is March 1st. And we do this, starting this year, we do rolling admissions. So between January 15th, after that date, we will inform people within 2 weeks of if they're being admitted into the program or not. And all materials are submitted and coordinated by the School of Graduate Studies. So School of Graduate Studies organizes all the application materials. So if you have any questions, you can always go over to them or email me and I will direct you to where to find the portal on their website. So again, January 15th, priority deadline. Okay, so that's my quick overview. I'm going to pass it to Christy, who's going to talk about writing your personal statement.
Excellent. Thank you, Dr. B. And thank you for providing that information. So let's get into writing your personal statement. That can often be a little tricky for folks. So we really just want to take this time to discuss things like formatting, but also content. So let's start with the formatting. So the expected length in the format. So we're looking for a personal statement that is about 2 to 3 pages, double spaced, 1 inch margins. 2 to 3 pages is not it's not a suggestion. We really are expecting a personal statement that is 2 to 3 pages with 1 inch margins. You're going to go ahead and use Times New Roman 12-point font, very classic, very APA. Write this in your own words. We really want you to shine through here. So, generative AI such as ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, I can't even think of the names of the other ones right now. We're not looking to see anything like that. This really is your opportunity to write about yourself, write about your experiences. This needs to also be professionally written. So please avoid things like contractions or informal language. I'm from Miami. I use the word y'all a lot in conversation. Y'all is not going into the personal statement. We'll skip over things like that. But what we will be using is first person active voice. So please don't write your personal statement like you are like in third person, right? Like, no, please use first person and really treat this like a cover letter for yourself and for the work that you're able to do and your reasons for being in the program. If there's anything you take away from this, treat this as a cover letter. So it's professional, it's first person, it's active voice, and it is all in your own words. Let's go ahead and discuss some of the content that you are going to want to include. So you want to talk about your professional background and you want to include any relevant experience in higher education or student affairs. Earlier, Dr. B mentioned that we see a lot of career transitioning folks. So if your education experience is not in higher education and maybe it's in the P through 12 space, please go ahead and include that. If your education experience is in education nonprofit, education research, education technology, please go ahead and include all of that. It is absolutely relevant experience, and we want to hear about it. Well, not me, because I'm not on the committee, but Dr. B wants to hear about it, and I promise you the rest of the committee also wants to hear about it. Your specific career goals. Really want to hear about your specific career goals within the field of higher education. Is there a particular type of institution you want to be employed at? Do you see yourself becoming a dean or a director of an office? Do you see yourself working maybe in athletics, or maybe you're really interested in working in career centers or career advisement? Please go ahead and share that information. They really want to know what your specific career goals are within the field of higher education. And I would say if you're not sure yet, you can share multiple interests. Like maybe you haven't narrowed it down yet. It's okay to share more than one thing. Um, and you also just want to include how earning a master's degree is going to help you to, support those goals and that professional growth. So if your desire is to become a university president one day, there is a very good chance that you will eventually be looking for a PhD, but you need a master's first. If that is the professional trajectory that you are on, if that is the future you 10 years down the road, then go ahead and share that with the committee. So let's kind of walk through the different pieces of this content, how we're going to get through it. So you're going to go ahead and start and introduce yourself, right? How did you get interested in higher education and student affairs, and why is it important to you? Maybe you were a student leader on campus and that was a really transformative experience for you. Maybe you were a non-traditional student and you were able to see firsthand the ways that the system is unforgiving to non-traditional students, and you want to speak to that. We really want to know why this is an important opportunity for you. Next, let's talk a bit more about that professional background piece, right? So you're sharing the details of your professional background, you're including any relevant experience. As we said earlier, we're welcoming the career changers who have those transferable skills. The K through 12 or the pre-K through 12, sorry, pre through 12, the ed tech, the ed nonprofit, please go ahead and share that. Those previous experiences are relevant. And then we're looking for people who are going to be successful working in the field of higher education and student affairs. And you can go ahead and let that shine through. If you have other transferable skills that you know will be successful within higher education and student affairs, maybe you were a social worker, maybe you were a therapist, uh,
Can I
go
add
for it.
one?
Yes.
Wedding planners. I've seen wedding
Ooh.
planners be very successful in student affairs and have great transferable skills.
No one can keep their head on straight like a wedding planner when a bride is having a meltdown. So, absolutely. Non-traditional is absolutely welcomed. This is really the time to make those connections. Let's go into your higher education career goals. Why do you want a master's in student affairs? Why do you want a career in student affairs? Is there a particular functional area? Is there a particular type of institution that you want to pursue your career in? Maybe you know for sure that you want to work at a community college. You find that population to be really interesting. That's who you want to support. You want to work at a 4-year institution. You want to work at an R1, a public school, a private school, an HBCU. Please go ahead and share that with the committee because all of that is super important in understanding who you are as a student, but also who you will be as a practitioner and the knowledge that you're bringing to the field. It all matters. Let's go into the next portion, which is why Morgan? Why this university? Why this program? So, how will earning this master's degree through this program support your goals? Please go ahead and demonstrate that you have researched the program and that you have researched the institution. At the very beginning of this conversation, Dr. B said, we're not changing our language. We're not changing these things about us and our commitment to social justice within education. That is what this program is going to be giving. So please show that you have really researched that and understand that that is where Morgan stands and we're not pulling away from that. Make a clear argument about why this institution is the one to help you meet your goals. There should be really straightforward alignment between your goals and where you see yourself and how the university ties into that. You don't have to list any faculty members whose research that you're interested in, but once again, it should be clear that you researched Morgan State and the HESA program. But if there is a faculty member, this could be a great space to mention that. And then finally, demonstrate your readiness for this program. This is so important. Please explain the ways that you have the necessary skills and the disposition to be successful in a graduate program. Um, for example, if you are working full time, as many people within the master's program do, I did when I was a master's student, explain that you have the support systems from your employer. Is your employer going to consistently be able to allow you to attend courses that are beginning at 4:30 p.m. on Zoom? Is it going to be an issue that some courses begin at 7:30 p.m. on Zoom? Is there anything that you want to explain to us that shouldn't be worried about, such as a low GPA or a gap in your educational journey? I will share for full transparency. I did not have the best GPA when I graduated undergrad, um, but I took some time away from school. I worked. I got a lot of professional experience, and I was able to speak to that really candidly and graduated with quite a high GPA for my master's. It was like a 3.7 or something like that. And as Dr. B said, I was the commencement speaker at graduation. So it is absolutely possible for a student to receive a second chance to shine. I say that from personal experience. This program can provide that. You just want to be transparent and upfront and really share your journey. Please have your statement be reviewed by a friend or a colleague, and have that friend or that colleague or mentor provide feedback to you. This is something that you want to make sure you're putting your best foot forward on. So a second or third pair of eyes can really help you do so. And finally, please submit those application materials before the deadline of January 15th. Of course, there is the rolling deadline that we spoke about. So, like, you have your 2 weeks and you should hear back. So, please submit your application materials on time. And
Wonderful.
that covers it. That
Yeah,
covers your personal statement.
that is a great overview. We're excited to read your personal statements. Um, Use them as a chance to tell us about you, why Morgan, why now? Um, and that is the end of our canned materials. So we're now going to switch to the Q&A. and I am going to stop recording.